Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Forbidden Land podcast. It is the last episode of the year. I am making baked potatoes, and oh my god, it's snowing. Wow. Folks, this is such a special occasion. It's snowing right now. That's so crazy. Um, and yeah, so last episode of the year, talk about what we've accomplished as a podcast, what we haven't accomplished, which is a lot, my disappointments with this year, some fun, cool moments that I had this year as well. So yeah, that's what we plan to do. I mean, I did it last year. I usually do it in the middle of the year. So, yeah, and also after this episode, there will be a best of compilation. Not really a best of, but like just a compilation of moments from throughout the year, significant moments from throughout the year. So, State of the Land, yes, sort of like the State of the Union. You know, when the president gets up there and is like, "Folks, we're fucking doing it." That's right. We're doing it hard, folks. That's what this is. State of the Land. So let's let's go back to last year's and see what I wanted to do. This will be interesting. In episode 99, episode 100, I went over what my goals were and what I did not accomplish and all that. So let's see. My goals for the year 2025 were more live episodes. Absolutely not. I failed on all cylinders with that one. That was my bad. I didn't do any live episodes this year. But I did design a new logo for Forbidden FM. So there will be a Forbidden FM in the next year. So that'll be added to our goals, obviously. More guest episodes. I don't think I had a single guest on this year, as far as I remember. I believe I soloed it this entire year, which is the first time I've ever done that. A full year of episodes where I didn't have anybody else on, which is my fault as well. I was gonna try to invite people on, but I was feeling demotivated, which sucks because I entered a kind of a flow state this year. I sort of entered a flow state. I have been formatting my doc more efficiently, and I've been covering stuff that I actually want to cover. But, you know, unfortunately, I dropped the ball. I wanted to do remote episodes where I go out in public and record outside of the space. I did not. I did not do that. More fun episodes. I feel like if I have to ask, I didn't do it right, but there's no way. I've definitely done some fun episodes, right? I think I've done fun segments, as in like I've done stuff on here that I thought would be fun. And that's about it. Like I've done some tier lists. I did the British invasion episode a couple weeks ago where I looked at British cuisine. I've been getting more fun with the titles. I've been having a lot of fun with that. I've definitely upped the whimsy and joy factor of this podcast, but I don't think I've done like fun episodes. We'll just say that I've definitely heightened the amount of fun I have while recording them. We'll say that's our first win, folks. Woo! Hooray, that's our first win. Dude, this doc is crazy. the last year's last episode. This is nuts. My topics were like Luigi Mangione, which there's more stuff coming out about him right now, so like that's kind of crazy. Some stuff about Biden, some stuff about a representative in the House with dementia. I wonder whatever happened to her. Something about Social Security. Oh yeah, Social Security that would expand to postal workers. Oh, interesting. I wonder if that ever remained. Um, Damn, and then Jimmy Carter died almost immediately after. Shit. God, remember last year when we all thought Bill Clinton was done for? Jeez. Give myself more breaks throughout the year. All right, buddy. I hate to break this news to you, but I accidentally gave myself the world's longest fucking break of all time. Granted, I was moving. There was a lot of stuff surrounding that move. I was in probably the most stressed point in my life ever. So there were valid reasons behind why I took such a long break. But I definitely achieved that goal. Even though I didn't really mean to do it the way that I did it. If I check the episode list, I think the only purposeful break I gave myself was oh my god, I have no idea. Did I give myself a break in October? I might have. Oh, I kind of did. I like delayed an episode in October. That doesn't count. Come on. I didn't really give myself any like legitimate breaks. I just took like an accidental break at the beginning of the year. Whatever. Dub on that one, folks. Am I right? These are some weird ass goals. I feel like I had better ones last year. Or 2 years ago, I mean. Scenery change. Oh, I mean, come the fuck on. If you don't notice that the background is heavily different from how it was last year, you're either not watching or you're blind. I mean, come on. What was 2024's goals? Oh, hold on. Let me swap the camera so you can actually see me. Here, let's take a look at what 2024's goals are. New logo. Okay, I did that. I did that this year. So I fucked that up. I think I like transferred these goals over to the next year. So, new logo. I did that this year. Check. Ding ding ding. Still haven't done the podcast in an outside space. More clips. We'll get there. More guests, no. Live episodes, no. Political centric episodes. Every episode has been political this year, with the exception of maybe like a couple. Every episode has been political. Plug the Patreon and Discord more. I have been plugging the Patreon. I don't give a fuck about the Discord. I'm gonna be so real with you. I don't give a damn about the Discord. I just saw the reflection of the lights. All right. Let's talk about what we've done this year that I find quite notable. We started a new clip format called Forbidden TV. That's pretty cool. I've been doing that for a few months now, where I clip a part of the episode that I feel like wasn't represented in the title, and I wanted to get it out there. And it's been going well in my mind. I mean, I enjoy doing it. Holy shit. The latest clip has 600 views. Holy shit. What a funny comment. Uh I love discovering good 5-hour old no views videos. Good on you. Keep going. Thank you. P.S. What's actually scandalous is that Mamdani didn't defund the cop right behind him right there on the spot. That's pretty funny. Damn, dude, this clip has 600 views. See, that's why we do it. I wanted to be able to clip stuff that wasn't represented in the title. The CNN Gambles with Humanity episode, I talked about the war in Venezuela, but I already had the title worked out and everything. And so I clipped it and I made it a Forbidden TV episode. Same thing with the Mamdani scandalous umbrella. I just wanted to make a clip out of it. So, and the Megyn Kelly defending Jeffrey Epstein stuff. Oh, that's so creepy. Anyway, Sarah, I was so rudely interrupted by my girlfriend knocking on the garage door. Yeah, I just enjoy doing the Forbidden TV stuff. It helps me reckon with the fact that I can't fit the whole episode's itinerary into the title. Also, the podcast has been doing pretty well. I talk on here like I have 3 people watching. Almost every episode has gotten a pretty decent amount of views, give or take a few exceptions, which make me kind of sad because I really liked the American Century of Humiliation thumbnail that I did. But yeah, I mean, the podcast is doing pretty well. This year we have grown a lot. I mean, most of the most viewed videos on this channel now come from this year. In the top 10, no, actually, I'll say the top 12 because it's in a grid. In the top 12 alone, 8 out of the top 12 are from this year. So we're doing pretty well. So yeah, I liked how we did it the latter half of this year. I have obvious issues with the way that I handled the beginning of this year, and a lot of people will tell me like that's not my fault. You know, that's ridiculous to sorry for the clicking. That's ridiculous to just think that, oh, you know, I had a major family emergency come up. You should have kept doing the podcast, even though it wasn't possible. I know I'm being unreasonably hard on myself in that regard. But you know, oh God, if I'm not unreasonably hard on myself, I'm gonna slack on the podcast completely. So, because there was a part of me that was like, should I just quit? And then I was like, no, I shouldn't quit. But you know, to be fair, in 2024, I made a crazy amount of episodes. Insane amount. I made well over 55. Like, there's some live ones in there, some bonus ones in there. I made so many episodes. Unreasonable. What your unemployed friend is doing on a Tuesday is what I was doing. So yeah. Yeah. The other cool thing I did this year was I actually adopted my Forbidden Land logo that I was putting on merch for a while. So, you know, this logo is finally the official logo of the podcast. You know, I had put it on merch for a little bit, and I was like, why am I still using this stupid text thing? You know, I really should just fully transition to the new logo. And so I did. And then I was like, well, I got to come up with something for Forbidden FM. And so I did. This is another logo we were using for merch, and I just reworked it with like this cool little radio thing. So yeah, that's the idea behind those. Then the Forbidden TV one is a fully original logo. Sort of. Obviously, I've sourced photos, like this JCPenney TV. But, you know, I like the Forbidden TV logo. I think I might have said Forbidden FM, but Forbidden TV has its own logo that I made. And it's pretty simple, but it's still kind of cool. You know, I like it. And yeah. I also finally did the Christmas border and the Halloween border this year on the thumbnails. I kind of liked that little spin. I made a little Christmas version of the Forbidden Land logo. Anyways, that's the state of the land. Time to make some new goals, folks. Now. I'm going to do this in a word pad. Old school. We're going old school on this one. Medieval on this one. I don't have a lot of time either because I'm making baked potatoes. Goals for 2026. Make that shit. Here, let me make the new line first. Make that shit bold. 20 font. All right. Bullet point list. Goals. Live episodes. I must. You know, I must. I have to. If I don't, I'm going to be upset. Keep the weekly schedule, which is every Friday, in case you're wondering. It used to be every Saturday. I found that doing it on Friday kept all the topics very topical. In American politics, you'll notice a lot of stuff happens throughout the work week. Not a lot of stuff happens over the weekends. That was at least the case under Biden. Under Trump, he just kind of does whatever whenever he feels like it, which, like, sure. But, yeah, under normal circumstances, international and domestic news occurs mostly during the week. And so if something happens throughout the week and I release the episode on Friday, it's still pretty topical. By the time Saturday rolls around, people have already gotten the news from like 1,000 different sources. You know, so I like to do it on Fridays because it just helps it keep it more fresh in the news cycle, I guess. I'm not talking about fucking like, you know, some shit that happened on Tuesday and you're hearing it on Saturday. Like, you're not going to listen to that. You know, and people like to listen to stuff at work. It's why I release the episodes so early in the morning. So I'm going to keep the weekly schedule and keep it consistent. Now, what are some other goals? Remote episode again. Maybe this time I'll actually honor this one and not, you know, let it fall by the wayside. Because that would be really annoying. So yeah, remote episode. I'm not going to write down redundant stuff like continue Forbidden TV and shit like that. I'm going to just do it. I'm already doing it. There's no reason to put it down as a goal if I'm already doing it. Guests. Can't say more guests because I didn't have any this year. Guests. Please. I have an idea of who. I have a friend that I want to bring on who's pretty cool. Me and him have very different political stances, but we have a lot of crossover in politics. And so I want to pick his brain. And he has a very unique position where he knows a lot about Canadian politics. So it'd be kind of neat if I could bring him on. But I have some former guests that I want to bring on. Actually, it's not entirely my fault I didn't have a guest on this year. I actually did try to bring on a guest back in October. I tried to bring on a friend of mine to weigh in on the ceasefire deal in Israel and Palestine. And it's a guy I've had on here a few times, and I asked him and he said, no, it's too hot for me. I think he doesn't even want to touch politics right now because it makes him too upset. he would probably say something he would regret, which is fair, I guess, so yeah, hopefully I can find more people to bring onto the podcast and talk to. That'd be cool. There's a couple political figures that I could maybe pull. So that could be kind of cool. That could be such a cool moment to bring a political figure on here. I think my life would be set at that point. So we'll see about that. What's another goal? Maybe I do longer episodes. Longer episodes, question mark? I don't know. I'm kind of drawing a blank. I think like I said, I've entered a flow state in the latter half of this year. I'm making episodes I'm happy with. I'm doing stuff in a way like I have a routine down for how I export these episodes. Like when I'm done now, I'm not like scrambling like what should I do? I have like a certain layout that I do. I have a format. I have compression settings saved for this stuff. Like, I don't know. I feel like I've entered a flow state, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I don't know if I have much more than this. One of my goals was to stop saying so much. And I've kind of done that. I say it when I like need to say it, like if I'm clearly thinking, but I'm not constantly saying it because I have no idea what I'm going to say next. I've entered peak yapper flow state. I sound like a fucking grandpa. I sound like an old guy doing like 6-7 memes. I've entered a flow state. Shut up. So yeah, those are my goals. Pretty lackluster, I guess. I feel like I had more like I feel like I had ones last time that made a little bit more sense. I don't know. I feel like I didn't have much this year. Watch it be like I actually had a shitload and I'm just forgetting where they were. That would suck. I'm gonna put these in my doc. Because why not? There we go. I don't know why that took me so long. Am I sure there's not another document somewhere that has my goals? That'd be really funny if there was. Holy crap. Oh, this folder's unorganized. Show me my text files. No, I just have the 2024 podcast goals. Interesting. All right. Well, I guess we're moving on. Let's talk about some stuff I liked this year. Man, I listened to some banger music. Let me tell you. I reviewed a lot of it. There was some stuff that I just didn't mention. But I listened to some banger music this year. I listened to obviously my top one of the year, Bodies by Thornhill, Private Music by Deftones, Carpe Diem Moon Man by Psychedelic Porn Crumpets. And then obviously that new Sleep Token album was pretty good. But there was one I think I did talk about it on here, but it didn't really show up on my Wrapped at all, which is a little surprising. It was Ataraxia by From Joy. That I'm not going to say all the numbers, but that EP was pretty good. And I re-listened to it while I was writing up the doc. Oh my god. Ataraxia, the song, is a banger. That song is so good. The like bong 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 bong, that part. Ooh, the atmosphere in that song. That's what it is, the atmosphere. The entire environment of that song, the way it like fills your head as you're listening to it. It's so good. I highly recommend that. There were some songs that I liked too. I already kind of went over them when I did my Wrapped reveal. Although my top Thornhill song, I would say my actual favorite song off that album would have been Silver Swarm. You know, that My Mind is a Mountain off of Private Music would have been my favorite one off that. There were such good songs this year. Gifted Every Strength from Loathe was really good. Ataraxia, like I just said, was pretty good. I had a lot of good songs that I liked. I didn't even write a lot of them down. Here, let me look. Ooh, yeah. One of the more recent ones I'm listening to is Cut the Moon by Hell Hills. That one's pretty good. I've been re-listening to the original mix of Obsession by Thornhill. That song slaps. I love the voicemail part. It just adds such a good feel to the song. I'm going to continue this segment in a little bit. I have to go cook some steak now. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back. I sincerely hope that the lady who made my yogurt bowl today doesn't see this, because I'm about to say that shit fucking sucked. That yogurt bowl was complete booty ass. Did not like it. She already ticked me off when I got there. Look, there's this like fruit bowl place that I have been trying to turn into like a regular thing that I do every Saturday or every other Saturday. No more. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I can't go there anymore until they get rid of that girl and replace her with somebody else, because that was one of the worst experiences I've had in a while with a place. I order a yogurt bowl that has Nutella in it. Sounds pretty good. I get there. I waited like 15 minutes till the pickup time came. And I go in there and she's like, this is the problem. Last time I went in there, she prioritized everybody who came in and made their bowls first and didn't make mine till like 5 minutes after the pickup time. But I was like, you know, whatever. If that happens this time, whatever. Not only did that happen this time, she didn't even make my shit. Like, she didn't even start on it. She just went, so do you want like the Nutella separate? I was like, no. Put it in the bowl. I don't know. There's just a whole combination of stuff where she just doesn't know how to make my bowl, apparently. And every time I go in there, she's like, do you want it this way? Do you want it that way? No. Make it how it says in your book, man. Come on. I'm not going anymore because I always tipped her and all that, and I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not going. I give her such a good tip, and then she's just like, so like I forgot how to do this completely. Do you want like this? No. I'm just gonna save her the trouble and stop going, which is how you should respond when service workers are not very good at their job. Instead of treating them like crap, just stop going. Don't go in there and like cuss them out. Just stop going. Silently, be polite to them. Silently be upset. And then once you leave, just say to yourself, I'm not going back. And there you go. That's how you deal with bad service. You don't cuss out the service worker. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the rest of my little list here. Like some shows that I've been watching this year. Last year I watched a decent amount. And this year I've only seen a few new shows. I don't watch TV that much. So like I saw Smiling Friends' new season. I watched the new Rick and Morty season, whatever. But the big one was that I watched the entire Dexter show. And I watched Dexter New Blood. And then when it came out, I watched Dexter Resurrection.
And I will tell you right now, Dexter Resurrection's pretty damn good. Dexter Resurrection's pretty good. You know what would make Dexter Resurrection a lot better, though? Would be if Paramount's streaming platform wasn't the worst streaming platform on earth. That would make it a lot better. But other than that, Dexter Resurrection's actually pretty good. So I enjoyed that show, and I enjoyed Dexter in general. You know, big refresher after watching so much House, so many reruns of House. Watching something like Dexter, huge refresher. Until you get to like the later seasons, then it kind of feels like a chore to watch. So, the first 4 seasons are pretty good. Season 5 is meh. Season 6 is decent. Season 6 feels like a return to form. It feels like Dexter if he just didn't have somebody to accompany him, which is nice. Basically like no love interest. And then the last 2 seasons are kind of a bore. But yeah, I liked Dexter. I went to some concerts this year. I saw Kane Hill. That was pretty awesome. Kane Hill's so chill. He's so cool. He asked the crowd if anybody had weed. Nobody had weed, but he asked anyways. He's like, it's Atlanta. Nobody has fucking weed. That was pretty funny. But he was a super chill guy, and he sounds great live. They had like technical difficulties, and that's why he was asking the crowd if they had weed and stuff like that. He was just trying to keep us occupied while they figured out the technical difficulties. So it was cool. I saw Thornhill in that same venue. That was pretty awesome. Ocean Grove was with them. That was a pretty awesome show. He performed Bodies. I had like 3 weeks to finish listening to Bodies and then memorize the lyrics, so I could sing along at the show. And so that's what I did. And it was a lot of fun. I loved hearing For You live. I loved hearing Nerve live. That was pretty awesome. Under the Knife is great live too. That whole album is designed to be performed live, so I really enjoyed that concert. And then we went to my favorite venue so far and saw We Came as Romans. I love the venue we were in. It's called the Eastern, and it's in Atlanta, obviously. That's where all the venues are. But it's in like East Atlanta. That venue was so nice. I ate some like garlic fries. Ooh. I had some fries. I know, I'm like, it's great because there's food. But it didn't get like overcrowded. They clearly didn't oversell the capacity of the venue. And I ended up having some fries with some dips. And then I ended up having a little drink. Some like seltzer thing. That was pretty good. Yeah, I had a good time. I was going to talk about it this episode. I won't because it's still developing. I wanted to touch on a news story in this episode, but I think I'm going to just keep it at happy fun time, cool stuff. But next episode, here's a little preview. Coming up on the Forbidden Land podcast. In episode 146, we're going to talk about the Epstein files. The reason being is that this is still developing. They're still, completely screwing it up. And, I mean, there's some interesting stuff to come out. All of the DOJ stuff came out, which I talked about last episode, but they've, removed stuff. They've tried to justify that removal, despite one of the removals including the president. They've had some shit go wrong with redactions where you can just unredact files because they did it wrong. So yeah, there's a bunch of new stuff developing. Lots of responses from Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie, the architects of that bill. A lot of stuff that's been confirmed that used to just be conspiracy or rumor. Lots of stuff that's like weird and creepy. I'll give you a little preview of one if I can find it. In one of the new data sets, there was this weird video, like this weird CGI video of Epstein in his jail cell. It's super unsettling, like super unsettling. Here it is. Here he is, like crying in his jail cell. Just like wildly unsettling stuff. Like, why would there be a CG video of Jeffrey Epstein in his jail cell crying? That is so bizarre. You know, unless that implies that there actually is real footage of Epstein in his jail cell. So yeah, pretty weird, kind of gross, a little creepy. So we'll be talking about all that next episode. Anyways, if you want to support this show, you can go to patreon.com/forbiddenlandpod. Thank you guys for a wonderful year. You know, to 2026. I said last year that this would probably be the last year I did the podcast. Not true. I have a reinvigorated spirit to continue this podcast because I want to. So yeah, that's what we're gonna. Sorry for the whistle. That's what we're gonna be doing. I'm gonna be continuing through the next year and the next year and the next year and the next year because I can't miss out on the 10-year anniversary of this podcast. Come on. Which would be in 2027. So we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You can find us on other streaming platforms that host podcasts, one of which, allegedly, will be your Samsung fridge, which I hope in the coming year we can discover that for ourselves, if that is true. So yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.